Hi guys, it's Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippy. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a flow, getting a little bit of movement in, and this is going to be focused on self-love, body positivity, that kind of thing. This is going to be physically wise, for great grammar from me. Physically, this is going to be a really great practice for when you've overindulged. So I know a lot of my American friends will have just had Thanksgiving. I was long over that in October from Canada. But if you did just have something like Thanksgiving with the upcoming holidays, it's very easy to overindulge perhaps, and maybe get yourself feeling a little bit ill. And sometimes I know very well that feeling of being way too full, and it's like, you've already done it. What are you going to do now? You just need some sort of relief. So we're going to be doing a practice based around that, while also having the idea of self-love and body positivity in there as well. Because while I say overindulge in the sense of where you're feeling physically kind of sick and too full, there is also in my mind no such thing as overindulge. We can have whatever we want, you know? The holidays are meant to be enjoyed, especially the food, and food is to be enjoyed as well on just any day. So that's my stance on that, but we're going to be moving through this practice. It's not going to be super physical, because I'm going to be moving through this practice as if I just overeaten and I'm feeling really like I can barely move and want to just lay on the ground in a ball and die. So if that's where you're at, have no fear. There's not going to be a lot of crazy poses in this practice. So please just bring your mat. If you want a pillow to sit on, if you have a little cat with you, perhaps maybe there's some family members over that have also had some dinner with you. Bring them as well if they'd like to join. And otherwise, you just need yourself. So let's get started. Okay guys, so we're just gonna start seated. You can sit on the floor on a pillow like I am, or if you would like, you can also sit on the couch, on a chair, whatever is most comfortable for you. Perhaps you're still seated around the table and unable to move just yet. So that's fine for this beginning portion here. Just getting yourself nice and comfy like Herman just did, and getting ready to tune inwards. So again, if you are seated on the floor on a pillow, making sure that the hip joints are above the knees, just to keep that health in the hip joints and your lower back as well. So you can bring the hands onto the legs, onto the knees. Palms can be facing down for grounding or face up. I would say maybe let's do face up just to get a little bit more of lightness in the body. So we're going to roll the shoulders up and back, nice and open across the chest, closing down the eyes. And I find specifically when I have overindulged a little bit and I'm feeling that extremely over full feeling, I actually kind of find it a little bit hard to breathe. This is totally fine. It is what it is. We're here. So not sitting here judging yourself or feeling anger towards yourself for enjoying your food. Just being aware, trying to sit up as straight and as tall as you can to perhaps give you a little bit more room in the belly, around the diaphragm, so that your breath comes a little bit easier. And just trying to breathe deeply into the belly. I know it probably feels like there's no more space in there right now. But just trying to send your breath down first. So sending the breath into the belly, and then once that feels like you can't breathe into the belly anymore, letting the breath draw up into the rib cage, the lungs, and up into the chest. And when you exhale, releasing the air out of the chest, the ribs, and the belly, perhaps squeezing the belly slightly just to squeeze all that air out. And then again, breathing deeply into the belly, up into the rib cage, spreading into the chest, and exhaling chest, ribs, belly. Just flowing with this long breath a couple more times, really getting some oxygen in. And as I just mentioned previously, not having any judgment here. I'm having a little bit of judgment for Herman right now. He's being a little nasty, but not having any judgment for yourself. If this feels uncomfortable, just acknowledging that it feels uncomfortable. Not sitting there stewing over anything that you should have done differently or that you're going to do differently in the future. Just letting it be. Did you enjoy yourself? Did you have fun? That's it. That's all you need. And just coming back to a more regular breath now. We're going to take a couple of cleansing breaths here. So deep inhale through the nose. And then opening the mouth. Let that all go. Let's do that twice more. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh that out. Last time, inhaling through the nose. And releasing that judgment, releasing that stress. Exhale through the mouth. Now we're going to move into the Sufi grind or Suri Om. And I'm just switching my legs over here because my feet are falling asleep. So coming to a place where you can move into the hips comfortably. Perhaps you want to come off any props and sit flat on the floor now. I may actually need to do that since we are going to get some movement here. But just beginning to rotate into the hips and starting to make some little circles there. So circling around, you want to start to feel that movement coming into the hip joints. If you are sitting down, perhaps trying to open the knees out so that you are coming into the hips a little bit more. And you can do as big or as little movement as you want here. So starting to come around, you can have tiny, tiny circles here, just starting to get the idea of moving into the hips, opening the bottom part of the body. And perhaps once that starts feeling more comfortable, you can start to bring the chest into it. Maybe we're starting to move the neck around, seeing what feels comfortable and seeing what moves around here. Maybe you suddenly have to burp. That's totally fine. Let that out. The whole idea of this practice is to kind of move things around so you feel a little bit less uncomfortable. So just moving around in one direction. Opening up the hips. And then beginning to move in the opposite direction. And making sure that you're breathing here as well. You can think of inhaling when your chest comes forward and exhaling when you curl back, kind of like with a cat-cow. Moving around into that lower body. And coming back to a neutral spine. We are going to bring the soles of the feet together here. And you can have your feet nice and far away from you if that feels more comfortable. I'm gonna get my pillow out from behind me and my block. If this is uncomfortable and you have a particularly hard floor, of course, you can always sit on something, but you don't want to be too high up here. So you can leave the feet out nice and far in front of you if that feels more comfortable, gives you a little bit more space. And we are going to inhale and lift straight up here. And on our exhale, protracting the chin, let's try to come straight over our hips here, trying to keep your back straight for as long as you can. And then when you find a place where you're comfortable, you can start to curl down Having the feet farther away and the knees out nice and wide like this can really create some space for the belly and feel quite nice. So you're still getting the feeling of that forward fold without having your legs in the way. So you can really breathe here. You can always bring a block or something to put your head onto. Just remembering to breathe. Releasing the head heavy, feeling that lower back release. And then slowly, carefully coming back up. We're going to open the legs out wide here, just as wide as is comfortable for you. I like to rock forward a little bit to make sure that I'm right up on my sit bones instead of, if you notice that your lower back is kind of curving, you do want to make sure that you're coming forward so that you are coming straight up out of the hip joints here. So you may need to bring your legs a little closer, maybe a little bit farther apart. Maybe you need to bring a pillow or something under your sit bones. Whatever gets you that tilted pelvis, that anterior tilt that I'm always on about. So this is also a nice forward fold stretch to stretch into the groin, to also release the lower back and give you that illusion of, well, not illusion, you're doing it, the feeling of doing a forward fold while having the wide-legged stance so that you are leaving space for the belly if you are feeling a little bit overindulgent or heavy in the belly. It's nice to kind of have that space created sometimes. If you would like here, you can also bring a block or a pillow, something for you to lean your head or your arms on. So just beginning to, again, coming up out of the hips, growing tall. We can pull our toes back towards us. If your knees are bent here, that's totally fine. You want to feel it a little bit into the hamstrings. It'll feel nice into the groin here, but nothing too harsh. We do want to be nice and easy on ourselves today. So starting to come over, as I always do with every forward fold I do, I like us to come forward as far as we can with a flat back, just to make sure that we are really extending up and over the hips. And just starting to come forward as far as you like, as far as feels comfortable for you today. And then you can start to curl down, maybe dropping the head if you have a block with you. You can place the head down. Relaxing into that fold, feeling that juicy stretch in the groin, the legs. Just releasing the body forward. And just taking a moment here to tune into your body and notice how good this feels on your body. Maybe there's still quite a bit of discomfort in certain areas, but just trying to focus on the areas where this feels like a nice stretch, maybe relaxing a little bit, and just knowing that while you're here, even though it's nothing particularly strenuous, you are doing something good for you right now. You're taking care of yourself, getting a little bit of movement and release in the body. And especially because this isn't something particularly strenuous, it's a lot easier to see this as something that you are doing for your body. This isn't something that you're doing as a punishment to your body for eating or being too sedentary. This is something that's just feels good and is going to help your body feel good. The purpose of this pose is not to change the shape of the body or the size of the body. It's just to release. And perhaps tuning into that feeling in a pose like this, where it is easy to get to that place because we're not bringing our cardio up and getting our heart rates going. perhaps we can start to bring that into other areas. Maybe you like going for a run every day, but perhaps trying to move into a headspace of doing it because it's nice for you mentally, it's good for your health, helps you sleep, and not as something that's done as a punishment or a way to change the body. Just my 2 cents. Since I've got you stuck here in a forward fold, I do love a captive audience. So slowly starting to come back up, bringing the legs in, giving those a little shake. Oh, like a bowl full of jelly. Alrighty, now that we've done that, let's roll over onto our hands and knees. We're gonna come into tabletop position. And just planting the hands here, we wanna make sure that the wrists are lined up under the shoulders and the knees are lined up under the hips. When we're in neutral here in tabletop, we do want to make sure that we're not just released here. We want to tuck the tailbone slightly, engage the core a little bit. And engaging the core does not mean that if we were to take a picture from the side, we'd be shredded and skinny. No, that's silliness. We just want to have a light tuck to the core so that we can feel the abs engaging. And the core is not just a six-pack. The core is this whole area around here, your lower back, everything. So this is done so that we are engaging our core slightly so that we're keeping our lower back safe. This is so much more important than engaging our core so that we can get a six-pack or so that we don't look fat from the side, is how I feel about that, okay? So we are going to come into some cat-cows here, and I really want you to come into the full expressions here. Again, not worrying if you're looking a certain way. When we come into our cow, inhaling, dropping the belly, breathing into the belly. Get your belly out, let that shit, oop, my bad, let that hang. Sorry. And lifting the head. If that's not comfortable for the neck, you can keep the neck neutral, but just releasing that and opening up the back body to the back of the room, starting to stretch across the chest, feeling that stretch in the wrists. Ooh, that's juicy. And then exhaling, we're curling up, pressing into the hands, feeling the scapula pulling apart in the upper back and squeezing the core slightly just to squeeze out that air, dropping the tailbone, squeeze and inhale. Dropping the belly, feeling this movement in the spine and in the body here. Flowing with your own breath, exhale, squeezing that out, stretching into the upper back. And inhale, dropping the belly. Gaze can come up. Squeezing that out, pressing into the upper back. Couple more here. Inhaling, dropping the belly. And exhale, pressing that air out. And then inhaling, we're gonna come to a neutral spine here. We're gonna come back into a wide-legged child's pose. Now, I love a wide-legged child's pose because I am curvaceous and I do have a little gut. So I find doing a child's pose with my knees together is 0% relaxing. The only thing I'm thinking the whole time is, I can't breathe. So coming into your wide-legged child's pose, you might want to bring something under the knees like I've done here. Really, really widening those knees out, bringing the big toes together and sinking the tailbone back towards the heels. You can stretch the arms out long and starting to bring the forehead towards the mat. If this isn't comfortable for your shoulders, you can also bring the arms like little chicken wings and give your wrists a little stretch here, or you can reach behind and grab for your heels here. Whatever's comfortable. You can also bring a block under the forehead if that's better for you. Just starting to sink into the hips, back towards the heels, and releasing the chest down towards the mat. Breathing here. Feeling the hips begin to release. Just releasing the muscles in the body here, letting the tummy fall. Allowing the hips to release, letting the bum fall heavy towards the heels. Sinking that chest down. Just focusing on the deep breath in and out. Noticing if your mind is getting really busy and wandering. And just bringing it back to your breath. Noticing if the mind is buzzing again with judgment, making plans, resolutions. And with all of this being said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to get your body to a place that is healthier for you. That's totally, totally okay. There's no guilt needed for that either. Guilt is the enemy here. What we want is to be able to indulge every now and again and not feel like our world is going to fall apart because that happened. We want to be able to go to the birthday parties, have a piece of cake, and not feel like we've done something terrible and that we're a terrible person and a failure. And working out isn't an enemy either. You want to do things that are good for your body and that are going to be healthy for you. Just making sure that you try to always honor your body and yourself, your mental health as well. And that you're always doing things with an aim to make yourself feel good. There are too many people that are out to make you feel bad. Too many things that make you feel bad. Too much stuff in the media that's specifically there to make you feel bad. Let that all do its own thing. At least you should not be making yourself feel bad. Your body is your vessel where you have to live. So make that a safe space for yourself. So coming up out of that child's pose, nice and slow. You can remove your prop here. Ooh. And we are going to come down onto our backs. This isn't going to be a particularly long practice today, just something to get some movement and release in. Pardon me. So releasing down onto your back, the knees can stay bent up. Just rocking the knees side to side. Oh, maybe letting out a yawn, a burp, maybe a toot. I don't know. I don't know your life. And we are going to just do a twist here now. So twists are very, very nice for digestion and release. In the moment, especially if you're feeling like your gut is about to explode, it can feel like trying to breathe in a twist. But just trying to make sure that you stay in there, even if you don't go as deep as you normally would, just get a little bit of that twist and really think of it as like a nice massage on your organs, and it's massaging your belly so that it's releasing any of that excess. It's just strenuous feeling. And it's just getting your digestion moving. So nice and yummy feeling here. So we are going to extend our left leg out long, and we're going to pull our right knee in towards the chest. So again, this may start to feel a little bit uncomfortable pressing on the belly, but this is technically a half wind reliever pose. So, I mean, do what feels right. We can roll the ankle one direction and then the other here. And you could start to pull the knee in towards your armpit. So almost as if you're coming into somewhat of a happy baby. giving that belly a nice amount of space here. Pulling that knee in. And then we're gonna take that knee in our left hand and start to roll the knee over to the left. Try and make sure that you keep the right shoulder planted into the ground. You can release that right arm out and you can gaze towards the right thumb. Alternatively, you can keep the head up or look to the other side. If you have a block, you can also bring that under your knee. Just noticing where you can twist to today. Getting that digestion moving, but keeping that shoulder down. So it's like a nice twist of the upper body. So think of the upper body as if it's able to fully relax along the ground, and it's the lower body that you're trying to twist. So maybe your legs up in the air, that's totally fine. Maybe you're barely twisted. As long as your knee is a little bit over towards the left from center, you're in a twist. So good for you. And again, breathing deep into the belly. Feeling that massage on the organs. Feeling that spine wringing out. Just letting that be. Maybe this feels really, really uncomfortable on the belly for you. It's totally fine. Just try and stay for a little bit here, breathing in nice and deep, allowing that twist to aid in your digestion. And inhaling the head back to center, followed by the body. Let's pull both knees up into the chest. In wind relieving pose, you can rock side to side here. Releasing that lower back. And then we're gonna stretch our right leg out long and pull the left knee into the chest. Maybe rolling the ankle one direction and the other. Pulling that knee over and in towards the armpit. So pulling it a little bit wide here, squeezing that in. And then when you're ready, using the right arm to twist that left knee across the body. And perhaps you'll notice on this side that you can twist a little bit farther. Or maybe not quite as far as the other side. Wherever you land is totally fine. If you have your block, you can bring that with you to rest the knee on. Or you can just leave the leg floating in the air. That's totally fine as well. Just trying to keep that left shoulder rooted down. Gaze can be towards the left thumb or up at the ceiling. And remember to breathe here. Think of your inhale as creating some space, and your exhale push you deeper into the twist. Reveling in those moments of discomfort, knowing that they will hopefully bring us closer to comfort at some point. Breathing into the belly here. Bringing out the spine. Inhaling the head back to center, followed by the rest of the body. Again, pulling the knees up into the chest, into your wind relieving pose, rocking side to side a little bit here. And we're gonna keep the hands on the knees, and we're gonna start to rotate the knees, and this can give quite a nice little massage on the lower back. You can move your legs in opposite directions or in the same direction. Just getting a little bit more motion in those hips as well, and switching directions. Pulling those knees in And dropping those down, we're gonna get a little bit of a hip opener here. So we're gonna come into figure 4 here, so we can lift up the left leg and cross the ankle over our right knee. Pardon me, goodness. I have a frog in my throat right now. So just energetically, not using your hands, but just pressing that knee open and flexing the toes back towards the knee to protect the knee as well. Perhaps this is your pose, maybe this is enough for you. Totally fine. If you would like to go further, you can reach through your figure 4 and interlace the fingers behind the leg. Relaxing the shoulders back towards the ground. Feeling that release into the glute. Sending your breath into that hip. And releasing that leg down. Releasing the foot. Rocking the knees side to side, a little windshield wiper motion. And then doing the other side here. You can plant the left foot and crossing the right ankle over that knee. Again, thinking of pressing that knee open, flexing the toes back towards the knee to protect the knee joint. And you can stay here if this is comfortable for you. If you would like, you can reach through, interlace the fingers, and start to relax back towards the ground, stretching into that hip, into that glute. Breathing into that stretch. Releasing that leg down, releasing the foot, windshield wipering the knees side to side. And we're gonna come into happy baby now. So reaching for your feet, you can hold onto your shins here and pull the knees down towards your armpits. You can reach for the outsides of the feet and pull with the arms while you press with the feet. And this is going to extend your lower back. And you can rock side to side. Maybe extend one leg and then the other. Whatever's comfortable here. Getting some movement in. Breathing into the belly. And then it is yogi's choice to do an inversion that feels good for you. If you want to come into happy baby again, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to come into a supported shoulder stand, as long as that's something that you practice and you know you can come in safely. You can also grab your block and bring the block under your sacrum and just extend the feet up. You can also do legs up the wall. This is quite nice to just drain any lactic acid in the legs. So just coming into your final inversion here. We'll spend a moment here before we come into our final resting pose. So just doing what you feel you need to do to come into the end of your practice. We didn't do a ton of movement today, so if that's something that you're craving, maybe doing something that'll get those wiggles out. Or maybe you want to move into your Shavasana already, that's also totally fine. I would suggest doing something restorative like this, or legs up the wall, just come into a space on the wall where you can have your legs up, just releasing into that. Maybe rolling the ankles. And wherever you are, just beginning to release down out of your final pose, coming towards your Shavasana. If your lower back is bothering you today, you can always keep your feet out wide and drop the knees in towards each other here. You can also take Shavasana on your side in the fetal position or on your belly if that makes you feel safer. Just coming to the position that feels the best for you. We're going to have the palms face up. Just wiggling around, getting into that pose, coming to a place where you feel comfortable staying for a minute As I've mentioned before, I will not ever leave you in Shavasana, so just know that if you're hearing silence, that's just the Shavasana, and I will let you know when to come back out, so feel free to just totally let go and relax. Coming to stillness. And letting the body release heavy into the ground. Feeling the practice that we just did sink in. Maybe you felt something, some space maybe created in the belly. Maybe it made you feel a little bit better. Maybe you're still feeling really full and icky. It's totally fine wherever you are. Just allowing yourself to be in that space, in ease and comfort, without judgment. Just releasing, taking a moment for yourself to relax. Do a quick body scan together here. So beginning at the toes, sending that breath down into the toes, perhaps feeling a sensation there. Thanking your toes for keeping you balanced. Sending the next breath down into the soles of the feet, tops of the feet, around the ankles. Releasing any tension there. Thanking your feet for being your roots. Sending the breath down into the shins and the calves, swirling around the knee joints, up into the quads, the inner thighs, the hamstrings. Allowing the legs to fall heavy into the ground. Thanking your legs for moving you throughout your day, every day. Sending the next breath into the hips, the glutes, into the lower back, the belly. Swirling up into the chest and the upper back, this whole core space here. Releasing that down, sending a thank you to your mid-body for stabilizing you, keeping your organs safe, protected. Sending your next breath down into the fingers, the knuckles, the hands, up into the wrists. Letting all those little tendons and muscles release into the ground. And sending your hands a thank you for all of the little things that they allow you to do. Breath to sweep down through the arms, into the forearms, the elbows, biceps, triceps, up into the shoulders. And sending a thank you into the arms and shoulders for lifting things up, allowing you to embrace those who are most important to you. Allowing your next next breath to sweep up through the neck and throat, up into your head space, relaxing down, allowing the little muscles around the eyes to relax, allowing the eyeballs to fall heavy into their sockets, releasing the jaw, sending a thank you up into your head and your face for puzzling out your problems, allowing you to show your smile and to speak your truth. Taking a deep breath, feeling the whole body release into the ground, heavy. Just taking a moment to thank yourself for showing up as you do every single day through all your stress and hard times, knowing that you are brave, you are safe, you are important, you are beautiful, you are worthy, and you are so loved. Bring back to your body, deepening the breath. Small movements come into the fingers and toes. Perhaps rolling your wrists and ankles. Maybe reaching the hands overhead and taking a full body stretch here. And when you're ready, just rolling over to whichever side you prefer into the fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow. Just resting here for a moment. And when you're ready, just using your hands to help you press yourself up, just coming to a comfortable seat. Your eyes can remain closed or soft. Hands can come to Anjali Mudra, heart center. Alternatively, you can leave the hands pressed flat into the heart space. Head taking a slight bow to honor yourself. And thanking yourself for taking this time out of your day to practice and move the body. And also thanking yourself for showing up, trying your best to feel that self-love that we all covet. And taking a moment to appreciate my cats for the disasters that they are. Fighting right after we finish a relaxing Shavasana. How dare. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The light in me honors and bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I apologize for my cats. We were all relaxed in our Shavasana, but apparently they were getting charged up, ready to fight. They're not hurting each other or doing anything dramatic. They just like to make a lot of fuss. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this practice allowed you to feel a little bit of relief if you were feeling a little bit too full, a little bit icky. I also hope that this practice allowed you to feel a little bit of, ease towards yourself. I think it's very important that we try not to take ourselves too seriously, and try and take some time out of your day to challenge the idea that we are meant to fit in a certain pre-approved box. I'll not get too raw body positivity on you, but just knowing that you are worthy of feeling good and feeling happy in whichever form or shape that you are in, and that is totally acceptable and absolutely perfect. And I love it, and I love you. And if anyone would like to chat with me further in the comments, if you're having a hard time and you'd like to reach out, I would absolutely love to speak to you. You can write into the comments, like I said. If you'd like to email me or connect with me on Instagram, those will be linked down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and you can also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I post. I post every Saturday, as well as occasionally during the week when the mood strikes. So I hope that you guys had a very happy Thanksgiving if you are American or from somewhere else that celebrates Thanksgiving around this time. I hope that you are feeling good and safe coming into the holiday season. I know that can be hard for some people, so again, I'm totally here for you. I'm totally open to chatting if you do want to speak to someone. Totally happy for you to reach out. Totally, apparently, is my new favorite word. So have a wonderful day. Please take it easy. Have a little nap, maybe. If you've had some turkey, maybe it's time for your turkey nap. I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful week, everything. And I will be so happy to see you back here next week. And just have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Namaste.